probably one of the most underrated aspects of finishing arm bars. Depending on where we have to get a feel for where the elbow is. And this is something that I think everybody kind of misses. You will get into a situation where you are kind of not paying attention to the orientation of the elbow and how it relates to the thumb, okay? Depending on where this elbow is at, directly corresponds to where the thumb is. So when we look at this, if his elbow is pointed this way, which way is his thumb? It's the opposite direction. It's on the opposite side of his hand, okay? So it's here. If the elbow is this way, the thumb is this way. We lose orientation of braking mechanics when we're not paying attention to the thumb and the elbow, okay? And it can be in any position. It doesn't matter. It just depends on where their arm was when you launched it, how much space when they had when they started to hit their defense, or maybe they're just holding. Depends on where their body is at in relation to your hips and their hips. It's all different. It's going to vary. Very rarely is it going to be picture perfect right down the middle. Most of the time it's going to be like down here, okay, or it may be way up here. So we're going to look at a couple of different aspects of this, and what we're going to do is we're going to work on this. Now, one of the drills, the coolest drills I ever saw in my life, I give credit to him right now because I haven't actually seen him active in a long time. His name's Barrett Yoshida. Barrett did a great seminar, and the seminar that he did, he had baseball bats, and he was using baseball bats, wooden baseball bats, to demonstrate braking mechanics. So locking up a baseball bat and arching and twisting the baseball bat into the various angles to get the finish, okay? So we're looking for that tension that we get placed on the elbow. When it's spongy, it's not good. When you start to reach tension and nothing is moving, that's where we want to go into the tension. Okay, so wherever everything feels tight, that's where we want to go into. I can't tell you how many times I've finished an armbar over the outside hip. Okay, or I've finished it over this side of the hip and been facing down. So if we lay straight back and everything looks picture perfect, we're gonna have this right here. But very rarely does this actually happen. Majority of the time, he's gonna be twisting his elbow to buy himself some time to defend the armbar. Now, I want you guys to make sure that since we've switched this format and we're working a lot of situational, understand these drills are designed for both of you guys to work. So when we do arm bars and I start teaching something that seems very pro finish, I'm also going to be teaching the defense to it as well. So if you're paying any attention at all, what did you learn is the key to buying yourself time? If you're paying any attention at all, you just learned that if you get stuck in an arm bar, you should be turning your elbow or turning your thumb to buy yourself some time. Depending on who's kind of running the rabbit here on how we finish, you'll see a lot of times high level arm bars, and I'm going to post this on band. One of the most amazing back and forth battles that I think I ever saw in my life was involving, it was Roger Gracie and Ibjjf. Okay, Ibjjf had Roger Gracie in a fully extended arm bar, and I thought he was going to break his arm. And what you see is fundamentals and mechanics down to the most amazing detail. Roger is literally in a full-on extended arm bar like this, and you see he's got just enough maneuvering to be able to do his elbow back and forth like this, and ultimately this right here, Ibjjf chasing him down, running the rabbit, trying to catch the elbow, results in a running man escape, and he ends up getting out. Whole crowd went amazing, went nuts. It was the most amazing exchange I think I've ever seen, and I think it was at Polaris. So I'll post it, you guys can watch it. It was absolute gorgeous.
It's a fight matter of retirement for him.
Yeah, it was absolutely gorgeous. Ibjjf was an up-and-comer, and it was just amazing. But it's fundamental basics right here. Okay, so when we finish this, what I want to do is I want you guys, we're going to open this up. We've already worked on just breaking the grip. So now what we're going to work on is we're going to work on this lean and turning. Now, it stands to reason that if I'm on this side, it's easiest to break over the high side hip. Doesn't make a lot of sense to go this way because I can't really arch that direction because I'm facing this way. I can arch this way, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna experiment with the tension. You're gonna experiment with the rotation of the hand. So I want you to lay this direction, all right? I want you to feel the elbow, find that part that's not spongy, That's it right there, and we're gonna take it into that, and we're gonna figure out how to manipulate the arm over the hips to get the finish. The finishing part of our body, what we're using to finish is all the way from here to here, from hip to hip. We're not just using the groin or the inside of the thigh, okay? That's not what we're using. We're using all of it. Hips, inside the thighs, and outside the thighs. It's gonna work on both sides. Now, partners, while they're doing this, they're gonna do something as well. Once they get fully extended, partners, after they hit this, I want you guys to communicate with each other, okay? After they hit this, I want them to start to work on manipulating their elbow to help facilitate the escape. Turning the thumb to help come out of this a little bit. So once they get their reps in of figuring out, okay, this is where I have to go to get my finish, there's my tap. Now he is going to twist his elbow and start working on beating this grip up here. Okay, so that he can relieve the pressure on his elbow by twisting the thumb. Okay, we'll talk about the other part here in just a minute. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.